In the year 2006, Joanna Burke first conceived an online campaign that was to grow into the Me Too movement a little more than a decade later, a cultural phenomenon commended by female sexual assault harassment victims and survivors of male carnal predators in positions of power. In March of that year, Crystal Gail Mangum, an African-American single mother of two, had begun working for an escort service to supplement her income while enrolled full-time at North Carolina Central University in Durham, North Carolina. The assignment she received for the evening of March 13, 2006 was to perform an exotic dance or striptease for a bachelor party of 4 or 5. However, upon arriving at the venue, a small single-resident house on Durham's Buchanan Boulevard, she learned that she was expected to perform with another black female before a raucous, beer-guzzling, stripper-oogling event hosted by the Duke University lacrosse team and attended by approximately 50 college-aged men. Payment of $400 for an hour or so worth of dancing was too enticing for her to pass up, so despite misgivings, she agreed to perform. But shortly into the performance, some of the intoxicated attendees began shouting degrading comments and making obscene gestures, which caused the two women to abort their act and seek refuge in the bungalow's bathroom. Angered by the unexpected brevity of the routine, the partygoers wanted their money refunded, 3 of them invading the bathroom occupied by the women. Miss Mangum's dance partner managed to escape, but she was trapped by the intruders and held within the small confines of what she believed to be 10 minutes, during which time she experienced excruciating pelvic pain at their hands. With their payment confiscated by the unruly crowd, the 2 black females fled amidst shouts of the N-word epithet directed at them. Crystal Mangum went to the Duke University Hospital Emergency Department, where she underwent a rape kit examination, and the Durham police were notified. With a strong desire, much trepidation, and a little encouragement from the Durham District Attorney Mike Nifong, Crystal Mangum filed a criminal complaint against 3 male individuals who were unidentified. In the pre-Me Too era, where the societal climate accepted sexual harassment, abuse, assault of females by men in positions of power, the female victims were reticent about bringing criminal complaints against their victimizers out of 2 principal fears. First, that they would not be believed, and second, that they would be subjected to retaliation. What happened to Crystal Mangum following her public accusations was the realization of those fears with the worst possible consequences, thereby making her a martyr of a cause more than a decade before it was recognized. Without investigative cooperation from the partygoers, who received immediate legal representation, DA Mike Nifong, who took a lead role in the case to assure that it would be justly prosecuted without pulled punches, was given unsolicited advice from his colleagues to dismiss the case. Seeking justice in this case, he refused. The defense attorneys impelled the North Carolina State Bar to initiate its own grievance investigation of Mr. Nifong, and by the end of the year, he had been forced to recuse himself, and he turned the case over to the North Carolina Attorney General Roy Cooper. A.G. Cooper's investigation, which was sealed, was concluded within 4 months, and on April 11, 2007, at a press conference during which he dropped all related criminal charges, he promulgated that the 3 Duke Lacrosse defendants were innocent and that no criminal activity took place at the party. The mainstream media was quick to pounce on this Cooper declaration as the basis for factually referring to Miss Mangum as a liar, a, quote, false accuser, unquote. In an April 12, 2007, New York Post opinion piece titled, quote, "Let the Liar Be Named and Shamed," unquote, by John Podhoretz, the mainstream media's rationale for justifying as fact that Mangum lied about being sexually assaulted at the Duke Lacrosse party can be found in the following excerpt, quote, Her name is Crystal Gail Mangum. She is the woman who falsely accused 3 Duke University students of rape. Yesterday, the Attorney General of North Carolina came forward and flatly declared the 3 young men innocent of these charges. That means their accuser is a liar, unquote. The Associated Press and other news outlets and media factually referred to Mangum as the, quote, false accuser, unquote, without presenting or having any proof, with many columnists, television legal analysts, and online commentators such as Mr. Podhoretz, Jonna Spilborn, and Michael Gaynor calling for Mangum to be arrested and criminally charged for filing a false police report about the assault. This bellicose attitude is unprecedented by the media, especially in light of the fact that Crystal Mangum has always maintained that she told the truth about the incident. Crystal Mangum's concern about not being believed were justified, but she had no comprehension of the retaliation that the state and the media had in store, as she was placed in their crosshairs immediately following the Cooper Proclamation of April 12, 2007. During a February 2010 domestic incident with her boyfriend Milton Walker, which was physical, Mangum set his clothes on fire in the bathtub and vandalized his car. Police officers arriving at the scene made no attempt to douse the bathtub fire, but instead called out the Durham Fire Department, which arrived 15 minutes later, enabling smoke damage to expand. Additionally, Mangum was charged with a myriad of crimes ranging from attempted murder and first-degree arson to identity theft and interfering with an officer. This incident, wherein Crystal Mangum was the only one placed under arrest, led to her incarceration for nearly 3 months, during which time she lost her job, was expelled from the master's graduate program at North Carolina Central University, was evicted from her apartment, lost most of her personal possessions, was no longer financially independent, and had to rely on assistance from friends and family for her welfare and that of her 3 children. The retaliation by the state was far more extreme during an April 2011 incident with boyfriend Reginald Day, in which he physically and verbally abused her in a jealous rage. She poked him once in the left side with a steak knife, as he was atop her, choking her with his hands. The non-fatal stab wound she inflicted enabled her to effect her escape from his hold, grab her purse, and flee the apartment. Day's stab wound was successfully treated at Duke University Hospital, where he underwent surgery hours later. However, on his 3rd postoperative day, his second medical condition, chronic alcoholism with intoxication on hospital admission, led to procedures to treat him for delirium tremens. An errant intubation in his esophagus instead of trachea, which was not immediately recognized, led to cardiac arrest and his subsequent brain death. Following a week of observation without neurological improvement, Day was electively removed from life support by Duke Hospital staff, and he died, Mangum being charged 5 days later with first-degree murder. This despite the fact that there was no medical nexus between the stab wound and Day's brain death or actual death. Mangum was subjected to a vindictive prosecution, with the state trying to convict her of first-degree murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. With assistance from Mangum's turncoat defense attorneys, who were more collaborative than adversarial in their relationship with the prosecutors, and a biased jury, the state managed to win a second-degree murder conviction, to which the trial judge sentenced her to a maximum of 18 years imprisonment. Mangum's appellate defense attorney significantly damaged her prospects for successful appeal by limiting the direct appeal to a single weak issue: error of the court to allow 404B witness testimony of her 2010 boyfriend Milton Walker. It was an issue destined to fail. None of Mangum's post-conviction legal representation acted in her interest. They did not file any motions, did not file a habeas corpus, did not conduct any investigation, did not engage in any action that would benefit Miss Mangum. The retaliation against Crystal Mangum has been more severe than towards anyone else imaginable. The Duke Lacrosse defendants and their families, with the state and the media, have unjustly deprived Miss Mangum not only of her possessions, education, independence, and livelihood, but have taken from her precious liberty and the opportunity to raise her 3 children through their formative years, all done out of spite. Crystal Mangum, without a doubt, represents a poster child martyr for the Me Too movement, which has heretofore largely ignored her. But even that is beginning to change. On Sunday, June 17, 2018, Nana Duffuor, a former Duke University student, will present Sprint, a multidisciplinary stage presentation in Oakland, California, debuting as part of the National Queer Arts Festival. This presentation will include the tragic plight of Crystal Mangum. Ms. Duffuor, a child of Ghanaian immigrants, was studying at Duke when the Duke Lacrosse case and its repercussions exploded in the media. Her observations of the treatment of Miss Mangum by the authorities and media led her to remain silent when she was herself sexually assaulted by 4 male Duke football students. The Sprint project, conceived a decade following her personal terror, is not only cathartic, but a project of self-discovery and inspiration for females of all races, circumstances, and experiences. Ms. Duffuor's inclusion of Crystal Mangum's story in her project will hopefully move others in the Me Too movement to refocus on its real-time martyr and the Duke Lacrosse case which spawned it. The time for protecting Duke University and the state witnesses who committed felonies for the purpose of a vindictive prosecution designed to wrongfully imprison the Duke Lacrosse accuser is past due. It's time for the Me Too movement to embrace and support Crystal Gayle Mangum, a strong and courageous woman who broke the silence at a time when there were no protections, only peril.